Trey and Paul coming to you live.
Automatopoeia. Abbreviated is such a long word. Yeah, why did they do that?
We're back for another episode of Whiskey Wednesday. These are our short, condensed episodes where we just talk about whatever we want to talk about.
Try to stop us.
Yeah.
Our producer will.
You know us at Tipsy Theology. We like to talk about the big questions, and on Whiskey Wednesday, we like to do it fast.
You know what's great about a big question? You can do it real quick.
You know, those big questions, if you can't answer it in 15 minutes, it's not worth questioning it, am I right?
But if you're watching on double time, 7 minutes.
Ooh. Yeah,
That's
I like
not bad.
that. I like that American efficiency right
That means
there.
we should make these 30 minutes, and then when you watch them in double time, both speak very slowly.
Anyways, it's Whiskey Wednesday.
Yes!
And Paul knows what we're talking about. I sure don't.
So I found this quote.
I like when we start with a quote.
I've been getting, yeah, like I told you. So I've been getting kind of, trying to get emotional recently.
Me too.
And it's funny because there's the logic side of me, and then there's the other side that I feel like I am foreign to sometimes. The heart side of me, the emotional side.
Yeah, that's what we're asking today. Does
Yeah.
Paul have a heart?
Maybe. Where is it? No one knows. Every human is different.
Yeah.
So this is actually something I've been thinking about a lot. So this is actually a Stephen Covey quote.
I don't know who that is.
He wrote a book. I think, didn't he write the Habits of Millionaires kind of thing? Shoot. I feel terrible for not knowing that. Pretty sure he wrote that
Just
book.
put a different name on it. Was it Socrates? Socrates said it. All
So
right, go ahead.
Plato said this. Most people do not listen with the intent to understand. They listen with the intent to reply.
Honestly, you know what I've been thinking about today? I think for this podcast episode, we should talk about what's going on in my life.
Yeah, we should. I want to hear about that, Trey.
Wait. What did you want to talk about today?
Do you love how great I am and how bad Trey is?
Honestly, I feel like a lot of the times I listen to Paul really well, and then whenever I respond, he doesn't listen to me at all. And
True.
he's just preparing to say something. I could see it in his eyes.
So today I want to talk about...
It's like we're not even communicating.
I am hearing words, but I only hear what I want to hear.
Anyways, this is an interesting topic. It's definitely something I am terrible at.
Me too.
Because my brain is just running really fast, and it's like sometimes you'll be saying something, and I'll start smirking. It's not because of what you're saying. It's because of what I'm thinking.
Because you're watching The Simpsons up there.
I'm over there thinking, I was like, ooh, it'd be really cool if I said this right now.
You know, it'd be awesome right now.
Anyways, Paul, how do we work through this problem?
I wish I knew. No, so honestly, what I wanted to talk about for me, because this is something that I've been trying to get better at over years, and something that it's funny. It comes actually back to this one story. You know me and my stories.
Story time with Paul.
Story time with Paul. Sample that. So, yeah. So it was actually this was years back when I was living in Ohio with. And Thomas was also living in Ohio.
Paul was a wee old boy.
I was just a wee lad. But yeah, so I was there. It was actually, I remember exactly where it is because it was very impactful to me. I was actually outside of one of my old churches, and my brother Thomas was going through some tough stuff, and we were sitting there outside on the steps during the service. Because we played music, second service, we sat outside.
Just for clarity, is this a church like house of worship or a church where you get your chicken?
So this is a house of worship.
Okay. That makes way more sense. Continue.
The Lord Chicken.
Yeah.
It was not Chick-fil-A. It was a church. So we were sitting out there, and Thomas was going through some stuff, and he wanted to talk about it. And me being the older brother, I'm like, cool, this is a great time for me to impart so much wisdom and advice to him. And you know what he said to me?
Didn't listen at all, did he?
He said, Paul, I don't need or want your advice right now.
Oh, wow.
I need you to listen.
Wow.
And that hit me really hard.
Wow.
And it was one of those things for me right now. When I think about it, even it's like, dang, how quick am I? How quick are we to just be like, perfect time to solve some problems. And I'm not willing to actually understand what this person is saying. I'm not willing to listen to them. It's like even though it's like in the future, it's like, yeah, sure, they might want my advice. They might want me to say like, hey, maybe think about this, maybe do this, let's talk. But it's like I didn't spend the time to even listen to what he had to say first before I decided to give him my old thoughts.
I assumed you would moralize yourself in that story, so good on you. Good
No,
on you.
I am horrible in that story.
Good. Yeah, isn't that the problem of every hetero relationship? Is
Listening.
the girl wants them to listen, and he just wants to give advice.
Yeah. We're the fixers. We're like, let's fix some stuff.
Yeah. You got a problem? I can fix that.
I can fix it. But I think one of the things that I think about, and what I'm basing this statement on, just things I hear from people too. Notice that I listened. I heard. Just making myself sound a little better for that story.
You heard what you wanted to hear.
That's right. But one of the things that I think about, and I think this might be a hesitation for some people, just because you're listening to somebody doesn't mean you agree with them. Just because you're like, hey, I want to try to listen and understand and hear what you have to say, where you're coming from, that doesn't mean that you agree with it. It doesn't mean you're just stamping your endorsement on it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing that's tough for me sometimes, because when even some of the things that we talk about.
I'm sitting here thinking about how we do this podcast, and me and you, we have very different beliefs.
Yeah.
And we're trying to get along. I think we're doing a pretty good job of getting along.
I mean, so.
We hang outside of this podcast,
Oh,
so
yeah.
that's probably a good sign that we're still getting along, even though we disagree.
Yeah.
But even when you say things that I like, even though I know I don't agree with it, I want to be able to say, hey, I like that.
Yeah.
But my mind, I stop myself because I'm thinking, oh, everybody listening is going to think, oh, there goes Trey putting a stamp of approval on that. That means he agrees. And it's like, man, maybe I need to calm down with how much I care about what people think I believe.
Yeah.
I just need to hands off. It's like, first of all, this isn't the podcast conversation, but I'm worried that people are going to judge me based on my beliefs. And so I want to make sure they get my beliefs right. And I'm not my beliefs, though, and you are not your beliefs. And that's why we can do this podcast together. Otherwise, it would just not work.
We'd be yelling so much.
Anyways, that's a short little rant. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, so I wanted to throw this out, too, on top of that, to kind of go with that. And this is actually Jordan Peterson thing.
You quote him a lot. Do you like him?
I do. It's funny. I quote like the same two things. That's the best part. I'm sure I've quoted this before. And I do appreciate Jordan Peterson and some of his thoughts.
I have a lot to say about Jordan Peterson. I don't know if today's the day to do that or if we'll do that later. It's
not, because there's things I definitely am like, but he said some good things.
I want to say the things because I want people to not judge me based on my beliefs. But I am not my beliefs, so we're not even going to bring it up today. Go ahead.
Yeah, come back for it. Yeah, so it was actually, this is kind of an extraction of something that he said, which is basically just, just because someone is maybe speaking something that is untrue doesn't mean, or you're trying to correct someone or help somebody, you can speak truth in a bad way. You can speak truth out of malice. And just because you have truth to speak to someone, or at least you believe you have truth to speak to somebody, doesn't mean you should say it.
Yeah, I believe that a lot.
Yeah, and it's that sense of like, if I want to hurt your feelings, I can tell the truth. It's like, well, what I said was true. It's like, yeah, you did, but you said it in a way to hurt and offend somebody on purpose.
Okay.
That's bad.
Perfect. So now I can level the playing field here. And you paint Jordan Peterson in a good light. I'll paint Ben Shapiro in a bad light. Back to his whole...
that's the assumption. No,
they're buddies, so you can basically say they're the same person. Not that you should. No, but he's got his facts don't care about your feelings quote, and I absolutely hate that quote. I think that is so dismissive and invalidating. And okay, that's a mishandling of truth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. Facts are completely separate from feelings, but you can share facts, you can share truth in a loving way. And of course, I believe as a Christian, I don't think it is true unless it has also the quality of love in it, So truth
Yeah.
devoid of love is not true at all. That's my stance.
And that's kind of the point I'm going with this too, is the fact that it's like, what is the intention behind it? Why, I'll just read what I wrote,
Okay.
which is, it doesn't mean that we should wield truth as a weapon to crush someone. Your intention matters. Your relationship matters. Understand where someone, I didn't finish my sentence properly. I wrote this quickly.
That's okay.
But basically, understanding where someone is coming from. Try to understand them the best you can, and speak truth to them with grace and understanding.
Yeah.
And I chose those two words very, very, I guess particularly, very specifically.
Will you say that last sentence? I want to make sure I hear you well.
Yeah. So try to understand where someone. Dang it! And I'm Mr. Gullible over here.
No. I really am. It's funny because it's the topic and I'm terrible at it. But I'm trying. I'm trying here. This is a case study of me trying to listen better.
So yeah, understand where someone's coming from, and speak truth to them with grace and understanding.
Yeah, exactly. And so,
So I'll even throw
Yeah.
this last. I have actually a couple more things to put in, but one of them I think of this analogy is kind of where I come to it a lot is, don't shout from the mountaintops at somebody and get mad at them for not being on the mountaintop. It's like, show them the path to the mountain.
ooh, I love that.
That's
Because
one of my favorites.
Mountains are notoriously symbolic of spiritual things.
Yeah.
And we want everybody climbing that mountain.
Oh, climb that mountain.
But don't dismiss the fact that the valleys are real.
Yeah.
There would be no valleys without mountains,
Mm-hmm.
and vice versa.
Yeah, it's true.
And so I like what you said there, and I think I'm hearing you well. And, thinking in terms of this Ben Shapiro facts don't care about your feelings quote,
Mm-hmm.
most of the truths that we decide to say are often determined by our experiences.
Mm-hmm.
And what are experiences if not feelings? Experiences give us feelings, and feelings lead us to, these lead to our biases of what truth is. That's not necessarily bad.
Yeah, I say it leads to our interpretation of them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we interpret truth and events through our experiences. And
Mhm.
so we can't completely dismiss feelings in our
Yeah.
relationship to facts, which is what I can't stand about that Ben Shapiro quote.
Yeah. And there's definitely two sides to that. And that's what's interesting. Actually, so I do want to, because I know we're getting close on time too, which is like, so I wrote down, it's a bit long, so I'm going to try to read. Sorry for my reading ability. This is Proverbs 18:1 through 21. I'm bringing the Bible into this.
That's strange.
Weird. So I'll start. So this is Proverbs. Whoever isolates himself seeks his own desire. He breaks out against all sound judgment. A fool takes no pleasure in understanding, but only in expressing his opinion. When wickedness comes, contempt comes also, and with dishonor comes disgrace. The words of a man's mouth are deep waters. The fountains of wisdom is a bubbling brook. It is not good to be partial to the wicked, or to deprive the righteous of justice. A fool's lips walk into a fight, and his mouth invites a beating. A fool's mouth is his ruin, and his lips are a snare to his soul. The words of a whisperer are like delicious morsels. They go down into the inner parts of the body. Whoever is slack in his work is a brother to him who destroys. The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous man runs into it and is safe. A rich man's wealth is his strong city, and like a high wall in his imagination. Before destruction, a man's heart is haughty, but humility comes before honor. If one gives an answer before he hears, it is his folly and shame. A man's spirit will endure sickness, but a crushed spirit who can bear? An intelligent heart acquires knowledge, and the ear of the wise seeks knowledge. A man's gift makes room for him and brings him before the great. The one who states his case first seems right, until the other comes and examines him. The lot puts an end to quarrels and decides between powerful contenders. A brother offended is more unyielding than a strong city, and a quarreling is like the bars of a castle. From the fruit of a man's mouth his stomach is satisfied. He is satisfied by the yield of his lips. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruit.
Wow. That was a lot.
It was a lot. And
I'm glad you said all of that.
thank you.
but there's a lot.
It was a
There's
lot.
And I'm trying to listen here to the words the scriptures are trying to say here.
Yeah.
But I'm also, my brain's shooting off in different ways, and I'm like, no. You're here to listen, not respond.
Yeah.
But
And so what I'll say too is for myself, and I tried to emphasize it the best I could inside of that, because there is a ton. That's almost an entire chapter.
yeah, I'm wondering, like, what do you want us to get out of these scriptures right here? What do you want us to get out of this passage?
And one of the main things I'm pulling out of that too, and that's and the reason I could have picked and choose the ones that I liked the most.
There's definitely 3 short verses in there where I was like, tasty.
Nice. But I didn't do that because I was like, I think all of them really play well together with this theme of just, he's like, you need to listen. Yeah. You need to understand what someone's saying. Yeah. Sure, your first thought, like the one who presents his argument first seems right. Until the person
that one really
challenges him.
That one really stuck out to me, yeah.
Me as well.
And that's something we run into all the time, where we're both like, oh, we've got the right answer. Here it is. And then we push back and like, explain that.
It's like, dang it.
Excuse me?
And so that's it's kind of a dual thing that I was trying to bring out here, in the sense of like, we need to listen and understand what is this individual, what is this person trying to say? What are they trying to express? It's a two-sided coin as well, which makes it complicated. But if you're only listening to the one side yourself, then it's what is even the very beginning of this. Whoever isolates himself seeks his own desire. He breaks out against all sound judgment. Mm-hmm. And it's like, don't isolate yourself. And that includes the bubble of people who agree with you on everything. Yeah. Don't isolate yourself to your own thoughts in this echo chamber. Branch out, seek the wisdom or the advice or the information or the whatever you want to call it of others. Yeah.
Escape the echo chamber. And I like what you're saying. I think this is a theme that we constantly come to is truth is not linear. On our side of things, on God's side of things, he understands truth perfectly. Mm-hmm. But for us, our experience of truth is very cyclical. It's circular. We are circling around these ideas, and we need each other to complete the circle and to shrink the circle. So we get a more concise understanding of what truth is, and it takes experience to understand what truth is. And so I like the passage you chose a lot, and I'd like it if when Annie goes back and edits this, that she puts that back in there so we can hear it twice. And we can just end this episode with a meditation on, and because you read it really well too. I like listening to your voice there. I may not have been hearing what you were saying, but I like listening to your voice. So maybe we'll end this episode with just a meditation on that passage again.
Yeah. That's what I'd say, pull it out for yourself and read it. It's meant a lot to me reading it over the past couple of days, and I hope it means a lot to you as well.
Anyways, this was a little longer than our normal Whiskey Wednesday, and I don't really care. Doesn't bother me. 20 minutes, who cares? But thanks for joining us again for another episode of Whiskey Wednesday.
I had to slow it down a little bit so I could actually read the words. But yeah, thanks. Continue, I'm sorry.
I was given the... Anyways, lately we're shouting out our Twitter because we really care about, our following. We want to be followed. You can catch me on Twitter at Hinkle3_Trey. Follow me, DM me, reply to my tweets, disagree with me, agree with me, do what you want to do. But I'd love if we could build a community on Twitter and we can discuss these things in real time.
Oh yeah, check me out on Twitter or Instagram, same handle, Paul Ulle94, ULLE, because I have to spell it for everyone, including my friends. It's crazy. And yeah. Thank you so much to Maximize Digital Media and Annie Lee for producing this episode that you're listening to right now.
And we'll catch you on the next one.
Yeah.